All right, well, we are excited to start our brand new Community Connections segment. This is a monthly segment featuring local nonprofits, and for the next several months, really focusing on the nonprofits that help our veterans. Adonica Coleman, alongside you, will be here every month to help us out with this, and you are introducing our first guest.
Yes, our first guest is Jeremy Amick, and Jeremy is representing Silver Star Families of America. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Good to have you along here. For people who may have never heard of it, Silver Star Families of America, tell us a little bit about the history behind it.
Well, it's actually a tradition that dates back to World War I, when the American war mothers had families, doughboys, deploying overseas to serve in France. They created what was called the Blue Star Service Banner, which you still see today, that they hang in the windows, you know, one blue star for each member of the family serving in the armed forces. So what began to happen is whenever a doughboy or a soldier was killed, the American war mothers took gold thread and sold it over that blue star. It became the Gold Star, families, Gold Star banner tradition. Likewise, when one of their loved ones was wounded in action, they took silver thread and put it over that blue star, giving birth to the Silver Star banner tradition, such as this here.
Wow. And so I would say that I first became familiar with this. I saw you at an event up in Columbia, and you were presenting one of these very large banners to Dr. David Russell, who is the president of Columbia College.
Yes.
And you've also done some things for a Tuskegee Airmen in Tipton, Missouri.
Absolutely. James Shipley was a good friend of mine. I had the pleasure of not only being the public affairs officer for the Silver Star Families, but the military historian, and I've been able to write some books and articles about our nation's heroes. And James Shipley was one I met several years ago, Tipton, Missouri. He was at the time of his passing, he was the last living Tuskegee Airman in Missouri. And after he passed away, I and the Silver Star Families got together and coordinated a fundraiser to raise the $4,000 for a highway sign to be designated in his name and honor through Tipton, and then we worked with the local state representative to get that legislation passed.
That's amazing.
Jeremy, just what does it mean to you to get to be a part of Silver Star Families of America? Just, what does that mean to you personally?
Well, but as a veteran, you kind of really, in your mind, you really never hang up that uniform. You always want to be involved with the military. I worked many years for the U.S. Department of Labor's Veterans Employment and Training Service, assisting veterans who had lost their jobs. And then, of course, my son, aside from my service, my son is in the U.S. Army and now transitioning to the Missouri National Guard. So it's very important to me that to ensure that he's recognized, all service members are recognized, because in essence, I look at it from the grander scale of recruiting. We now have a military, since the early 70s, that's all volunteer. So we want to make sure that we're painting the military in a positive light, that those who raise their hands know that they're going to be taken care of and recognized once that service is completed.
That's good. Thank you so much for your service and your son as well.
Thank you.
Tell me, how can the community, how can our viewers, how can they help Silver Star Families of America?
Well, one of the things we do, I talked about it, the banner here. So the Silver Star Service Banner is presented to veterans who have wounds or injuries or illnesses that are linked to their service in a combat zone. And we provide those to the recipients free of charge. Of course, free of charge to them doesn't mean free of charge to us, so we have to do fundraising to raise money for that. And we also have other programs, like we provide prayer blankets to veterans in hospice in the VA hospitals, and also we purchase food coupons for veterans of lesser means that are in the VA hospitals, so they can go to the canteens and purchase food and other items to make, provide more comfort for their stays in VA hospitals.
Fantastic. Well, if you want to learn more about this organization, the website right there on your screen, silverstarfamilies.org. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Out of time to talk to you, but thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, and Adonica, we will do this again next month.
See you next month.
All righty, again, every third Thursday in the month, we will bring you another great nonprofit that is helping out our veterans here in mid-Missouri.